much better.
Here we go. Hello, everyone around the world. It's so nice to be here today on my new show, Out of Nowhere. My special guest today is Argie Nosh. Now, Argie, I've just been talking to him before the show. It's 10 years since he first did a show with me. So we've both come a long way. He's interviewed about 3,000 people, he said, before the show. I'm up to about 1,000 now. Two, it's like for a week, for a month I do. So it mounts up over the years, 10 years. So, it's absolutely wonderful. See, Alison's in the chat room already. It's great. We like Alison. She likes to moderate as well while she's there, just to make sure everything's okay. Yeah, Aggie is an author, an on-air personality, seasoned aircraft pilot, hypnotherapist, UFO research, cosmic explorer, a student of many science, including metaphysics, theoretical physics, and different forms of theories of spirituality. Can we please welcome Aggie to the show? Hello there.
Well, hello there. And in the words of Spock, live long and prosper. And here we are.
I
I
love it. I love it. I know we briefly spoke a little before the show about, tell us a bit about mind control.
Yeah, the mind. Huh. It's just such an elusive thing. Science, they are arguing all day long about, do we even have one? They talking like, oh, everything there is in the brain. But then we got these conundrums that cannot be explained about people that have been brain dead, totally no activity in the brain at all. But during that time, something happened. And when they wake up, they remember it. That can't be explained. So there's something outside of the brain that absorbs memory. And when you come back to, like in a near death experience, then that memory goes back in, it funnels through your faculties so you can remember. And scientists, they're just shaking their head and walking away and says, we don't understand. So since we don't understand, it doesn't exist. Yeah, sure. But it's kind of fun to do all these shows. Gosh, you mentioned before the show that we have. The first show we did was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, that's a long time. And we're having fun.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about. And we are learning. We get to talk to some of the most interesting people in the world. And how in the world can you beat that? I'm having so much fun right now that when other people talk about retiring, I'm just laughing. I will never retire.
No.
I'm going to
No,
keep.
you won't.
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing what I do till about 3 weeks after death. But now, when you talk about the mind and how to make it work the best for you, it always works better if you understand something. And very few of us understand the mind. I would like to. It's fun to talk about all these UFOs and the ghosts and everything, but when you come down to it, what does it do for us to make our life better today and tomorrow? I like to lay down a floor of understanding, which you, the listeners, can build a house on later. I want to talk to you about how you can reprogram the mind, how you can understand who you are and what you are, which is not the same thing. And you're going to have some benefits if you stay with us to the end of this show. You're going to be a wiser person, because I've had an enormous amount of experiences and I've learned a lot over the years. And I'm going to let you have some of that so you can use it for yourself. Because what we see around us, we all think this is physical and solid and real, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Quantum mechanics have a different story to that. They're telling us that we live in a mind created universe. There is repeatable scientific experiments proving that. One of them is the double slit experiment. You can Google it and you can read about it, and you find out that everything in the universe is a wave. It's a wave until someone is observing it, and then bingo, it turns into particles and solid. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm knocking on the desk.
Yeah, I can do. Yeah.
Yeah. So the mind creates it. And we also have the Helmut Schmidt experiment. He was a German fella.
Yeah.
How much more German can you get than Schmidt? Uh, uh, he even went so far that he proved our mind create everything, but also he went back and corrected something in the mind in the past. But that doesn't make sense. We are all told that the linear time of past flowing through the present and on into the future, and nothing can back up to be corrected in the past. Now that is so until Helmut Schmidt proved otherwise. And you can read about that. You Google it, and I could go into an hour's worth of talk on that, but I think you better read it because it'll be a better understanding. That explains that linear time as we know it does not even exist. There is presence right now. And we have, in that present now, we have access to the past and the future that has not happened yet. Now, these are repeatable experiments. You can't argue with them, they're there. So, when we look at something like that, it tells us our mind has a scope much wider than what we have been told in grade school and high school and college and universities. They're way behind in understanding. So when we are looking at those things and ask ourselves, how can we use that to our benefit? Yes, we can. And we can do it in a tremendous way that makes huge difference in our life. And that is, first of all, Nori Love and I created a mastermind where we are a bunch of people getting together and we concentrate on one thing, and we create this mastermind, magnify the effect of what we're creating on usually solutions,
Yeah.
and it happens. So let me first let me define the mastermind to you. A mastermind is when two or more minds are united in harmony, they create a third mind, which has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other. If 1,000 people get together and concentrate on one thing that needs to be corrected. Actually, we concentrate on the new thing after it is corrected.
Right.
Then we have the potential mind power of 1,000,000 minds, and that create a wave, an energy field directed towards that thing that creates it. And let me just let me take about 2 minutes and give you a couple of examples, because this is important. That'll help the understanding that this is real. In the mastermind, one of the gentlemen there, he told us, uh, it said that my wife is in the hospital. She's there with COVID, and
Yeah.
she's in a really bad way, and they expect her to not last very long. And tomorrow they're going to put her on the ventilator, and they're going to put her on that drug that normally would shut down the breathing and so on. That's all designed. So they were going to do that the next day. So we wrapped our mastermind around her, and we visualized her walking out of the hospital perfectly healthy. And at the end of that, I kind of made a flippant comment. I didn't think much about it. I said, she'll be home tomorrow.
Yeah.
And in the afternoon, the day after, her husband called me and he said, my wife is home. The doctors told her that you recovered so fast there was no reason for us to keep you any longer. That is the power of the mastermind.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, that is that's a little while ago now, but it's a very, very descriptive incident. A lady called me, and she said, the forest fires out here in Northern California, and I think I may have to move into town because it's safer there, because I'm afraid my house is going to burn. The fires were coming closer to her. And she says, is there anything we can do with the mastermind? And I said, well, let's give it a shot. So we wrapped our mind around her house, her, and the neighborhood. And we visualized ourselves standing outside, looking towards the horizon. And there was howling rain coming down. We visualized ourselves with the rain falling on our head. The hair was wet, hanging in our face, and our clothes were all wet, and my boots were filling up with water. We visualized all this. And when we were done, we continued with a meditation that we do,
Yeah.
and we kind of forgot about it. And an hour and a half later, she called and she said, it's raining. Now, it wasn't clear skies. There were clouds in the sky, but she could see blue skies through the clouds. So
Yeah.
it wasn't much. In an hour and a half, we created rain that put out the forest fires. So folks,
Amazing.
if you want to be part of something like that, see how it works, send me an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com. themastermindconnection@gmail.com. I'll send you some information and a link to come and check it out and see if this is something that you like to be part of. When you hear results like that, then you wonder, what can I do? Yes, you can use that. What I'm concerned, every family, I don't care if a family of 2 or 8, every family should create a mastermind, because most families, they want the same thing, all of them.
Gosh. Yeah.
So get together, decide what you want, and then use the principles that we teach in the mastermind and visualize it, feel it, love it, have gratitude for actually seeing it in your life right now, and be thankful for already having it. When you do that, you reach into the quantum existence. You grabbed onto what you have already placed there in form of thoughts and emotion. You grab those emotions and thoughts and visual images and bring them back into the presence with you.
Mason just saying there. I had this book, actually tried to get the German disclosure book, was blocked by the permanent civil service, similar issues. It's not politicians who are blockers, but the permanent civil service. I think he must have got a book from somewhere, Mason did.
Uh, he said, I had his book. Who is he? Is that me? Or was it?
No, I think it was a prime minister in the 1970s in Germany.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I Googled it before the show and I found him. So he is on the internet. You can read about him. Wikipedia also has it, I think.
Right.
Now, this is something that people need to do. Create a mastermind. I said that if there's two of you, you can create a mastermind. But what if you are a single guy?
Yes.
Can you create a mastermind? Yes, you can. Because energy never disappears, it only changes form. So the energy of Nikola Tesla or Buddha, Joshua Betalachme, which is his Hebrew name, you probably know him as Jesus.
Yeah.
Their energy never goes away, it only changes form. It is in the quantum existence where you can reach that energy. So if you're by yourself, visualize maybe two or three of those people around you and tell them, talk to them, tell them, I am open for communication. I am open for advice. Help me create, and then you can name it. And then you go from the, you have invited them in now.
Right.
And then you go and visualize what you want. When you do that, you're going to find that, yeah, it's a really strange word, but it's called miracles happen. It's not a miracle, it's all science, but things happen.
It's interesting. I know Uli Geller did it on a radio show many,
Yeah,
many years ago. I think they wanted water to rain in Australia because they hadn't had rain for, I don't know,
yeah,
years. And he did it on a radio show and it worked. It rained
yeah,
the day after.
yeah. Art Bell, he did that on his, I mean, he had 20 million listeners back then here in the US. And there were fires, I mean, there were total drought in Texas. It had not rained for 4 months. So they were, towns were running out of water, cattle was dying, there were brush fires everywhere. So he told his listeners, visualize rain over Texas. And this was a night, I think it was in 1997, possibly. I was listening that night and I participated. And the, in that morning and the next day, there were thunderstorms all over Texas and there rained everywhere. And the weather forecasters came out and said, we are dumbfounded. There were no moisture in the computer models anywhere that could create this rain. But it happened. So that's the mastermind working for you.
Mm.
So now you can understand what you and your wife, just the two of you, if you are two, get together, create a mastermind or two, or invite people in that don't even have to be alive anymore. Put them to work for you. If you do this, things change. I have done this, and I got wonderful things happening. Just do it. And then um, I know I've talked about this on other shows every so often, but the thing is that we need to hear it again because we forget. Anybody
Correct.
relate to that? I do.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
We do
So,
forget.
yeah. And then we got people out there right now sitting on the couch saying, yeah, sure, mind created universe. This couch feels pretty solid to me. It's got to be something to it. Well, um, let me explain a little bit about that. Because there is this physicist, his name is James Gates. He says that if we look deep in the equation explaining the fundamental particles of the fabric of space, we find computer language. We didn't put it there, it just shows up as the only way to explain the universe. So if the universe have computer language in it, that shouldn't be that hard to believe because DNA has computer language in it. We know
Mm.
that we found that. So now there is this universe out there that is com- created by a computer because it has computer language. That is starting to look to me like it is a simulation. And if we look at the universe otherwise and dwell on the concept that it might be a holographic projection, let me give you an example that'll totally explain and you can accept it. And that is, I'm a hypnotist. If I put you in a soft chair and talk to you for 10 minutes and tell you that when I snap my finger and bring you back out, you will see an elephant standing over there next to you. I don't care if you're on the 34th floor of an apartment building. It doesn't matter. The elephant will be there if I did my job right. You reach
Yeah.
out and touch the snout on the elephant. You can hear him breathing. You smell him. You can feel the rough skin in your hand. That elephant is absolutely real to you. So, what happened? Did your real world go away? Yeah, it did. I did not create that elephant. You did. I just gave you the idea and I spoke to your subconscious mind, which creates the reality around you. I spoke to that subconscious mind and convinced it that you got an elephant here. And you believed it. So you created the elephant.
Right.
There are many hypnotic regressions that prove, or not regressions, but sessions that prove this is very possible. So now we know the mind can create solid things like an elephant. Then what else can it create? This this table, my coffee cup,
Mm.
it does good coffee too. So now when we understand that the mind can actually create things, let's put that to work. Let's go back into the mind and start visualizing things that you want in your life. Even if you're by yourself, start visualizing and tell yourself, I thank you for already having it. Because the universe works in the present. If you say, uh, I want a new car, okay, the subconscious mind go back in and say, yeah, I want, we want a new car. And the next day it'll say, we want a new car again. And the day after, you still want one. You don't have it yet. Let's dwell in the present. The universe work in the present, so let's use that principle to our advantage. We can create it in our mind right now because the neuroplasticity in our brain tells us, this is science, it's not woo-woo. It's science, is that the brain does not know the difference between something that you visualize or the real thing.
Tucson Electric Power.
That's what I get for not turning the phone off.
I know.
But put the mind to work for you. And so many people don't do that. They're just using the brain. When you start engaging the mind, things change. Because the brain is local, the mind is non local. The mind is everywhere. And now you get an idea here. You can really change your life. And also, you can reprogram your subconscious mind. Let's say you got a bad habit. let's say you're let's say you're a lush, you drink a lot, okay, or you smoke. um, I don't say that. Once in a while I have a small glass of red wine before I go to bed. I
Yeah.
enjoy that. Yeah, that's good. I don't mind that at all. But if you drink the whole bottle, that's a different thing. Now put that to work. Just go back in and try to reprogram the mind. There's three different ways that the mind can reprogram itself very effectively. And neuroscience show us that when we sleep, our brainwave pattern go down into the theta range of brainwave pattern. That's below alpha. It starts from 4 to 7 or even below 4. Now, if you sleep like that, your mind is very open to suggestions. On Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube, we have I have created some videos in the members section,
Right.
which will help you to reprogram the subconscious mind for good health and good memory and other things. If you go there, click on join, and then you can get in there so you can get access to it. That works on repetition. I do that a lot when I work on the computer. I go in there and I bring up those files, and they are repetitions. They run for hours and repeat itself. So
Right.
your subconscious mind listening to it because it's so low you can barely hear it, but it does not interfere with what you're doing consciously. When you run those, that goes into the subconscious mind, and by repetition, it is reprogramming the subconscious mind. And and also Hypnosis is an excellent way to reprogram the subconscious mind. If you got a good hypnotist that'll get you way down into the bottom of the theta range of brainwave patterns, they can give you suggestions, and when you wake up, you will react to it and act accordingly. Now, also, there is another way, which is really simple. When you sleep at night, your brainwave patterns are really, really down there in the theta, and your mind is wide open for impressions. And that brainwave state lasts a few minutes after you wake up. In that brainwave state of down in theta, you are 400 times more apt to absorb and react to stimuli from the outside. So if you wake up and remember to give yourself instructions at that time for the next couple of minutes, you can say, I have perfect health. My body knows how to repair itself, and I have perfect health. That could be one. Or it could be another one. I have perfect memory. My memory is getting better and better every day. That could be another one. You can repeat that over and over again as just after you woke up.
You can program yourself then.
Yes, you do. And that
Interesting.
is powerful.
It'd be good if a family member has got Alzheimer's disease coming on. What would you suggest then?
For a disease, well, I wouldn't exclude natural remedies. There's something to the shotgun effect. So if you are programming your mind to solve the problem, and you also take natural medicines to solve the problem, and if there's something that has a good track record of removing symptoms from pharmaceuticals, you can use that too. I have been known to give doctors and hospitals and the medical system a really bad rap. But if I break my leg, I'm going to go see one.
Yeah.
But if I break my leg, the herbalist, he can go and take a vacation. I don't care for what he's got to tell me. So they have their place. I have another tremendous, I wrote this down because I want to read it as it was.
Thank you.
In 1981, Morris Goodman, he was in a plane crash. The doctors did not expect him to live. He broke his back right above the chest. He severed the spinal cord. He punctured his diaphragm. He could only breathe by a ventilator. He could not move any parts of his body except for his face muscles. He understood the power of the mind and the visualization, and in a short time, by visualization, he visualized the spine perfect. And he regenerated his diaphragm so he could breathe again on his own. In a few months, he regrew his spinal cord and his spine so that he could walk again. And the doctors were dumbfounded.
God, I bet there was.
When you hear stuff like that, you're starting to get an idea of what you can do. And we all know about Joe Dispenza. He did the same thing. He broke his back. He couldn't walk. And the doctors told him, you're going to be bedridden the rest of your life. There's no chance of you ever walking again. Within a very short time, he had, by visualization and imaging, he had rebuilt the spine and the spinal cord. So he was up and back to work as a chiropractor.
So you can do things like that on your own then. Visualize what problems you've got
Yeah.
and work on them.
It gives us an idea what the mind really can do. And I have found there is no limits. I wrote a book on this. In fact, I didn't bring it down here, but I got it on the shelf. I'm going to show you.
No problem.
Okay, here we go. Well, so much for that one. This book here, Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. This book teaches you how to use your mind in ways you normally would think would be impossible. It'll teach you how to reprogram the mind, how to reach into the quantum and pull things from there that you have thought of earlier, the being perfect of what you want, or other things that other people have placed there that you may want. And also, it breaches the time beyond the present. You have access to the past. You can see things in the past just as well as hypnotic regression. And you can reach into the future and get information. My co-host on Broadcast Team Alpha, she's a hypnotherapist. She's a little more gentle than I am because I'm not a therapist. I was taught by a magician, taught how to break down barriers and get to the very bottom of the mind and make people do whatever you want them to.
Right.
Now, she does something. Nori Love does something that I haven't seen anybody else do, and that she takes them forward in time, a year, 2 years,
Brilliant.
to meet themselves and then have a conversation. Chances are that you in the future is just a little bit smarter than you are today, so you can get good advice, And let's say you're working on something right now, and you go forward in time, let's say a year or so,
Yeah.
and you ask yourself, did it work? What should I do to make it work better? That advice could come back with you, and you implement the advice, and it works better. Now, Nori is good at this. I have not done it with her, but she did one show with me. It's on Broadcast Team Alpha, way down in there, about 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
And it's called Augie Hypnotized Live.
Ooh.
Yeah, so she hypnotized me right on the show, and a lot of goofy things came out because she took me back, way back.
Did she go forward with you then, or just back?
No, we didn't go forward. We just went back. And she found me on a ship. That the ship was the size of a planet. That ship there are people living there that never set foot on a natural planet. That spaceship is their planet.
Right.
And both me and her was on that ship working together on something. So we had some previous life situations together, and in one of them we drowned together.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
If people want to see what a real hypnosis session is, then go to Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube and scroll down into the live shows, and go down there and find the Augie Hypnotized Live. I think it's about 4 or 5 years ago. It's quite a while. It's
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah, I'm not so sure that. Yeah, some of the things came out that I wasn't planning on coming out.
Well, that's what happens, isn't it? When you're doing it
Yeah,
live.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but have you done any hypnosis,
I
Bob?
haven't. No, no, I haven't.
You
It'd be
should
interesting.
you should try it sometime. You're gonna get to know yourself. You will find out things about yourself that will blow your mind sometimes.
What, what
Oh,
about what about regression? What do you think about that?
oh, if it is done right, um, I think that regression can be tricky because you got to get deep enough in the mind in order to get the real stuff. And let me give you an example. This dates way back when I was still back in Minneapolis, living up there, teaching flying and charter flights and stuff. I'm a retired pilot.
Hmm.
So, so there was a lady that wanted to go back and find out about her past lives. So we put her under, or I did, and then I took her back to about, I think, maybe a year or so after she was born, and she was talking about what that was like. And then there were several things, several time, I think 2 or 3 times there. There was about a year old, and then there was something later. But I also took her back. I wanted to take her back about 2,000 years and find out
Oh
what
God.
were you or where were you and what was your experience. And as soon as I gave her that command, she was quiet for a while. And then she came out and she was talking to me in a language I did not understand. And that totally threw me. I didn't know what to do. So
Oh
I
God.
asked her more questions in English because it wasn't that I can understand 6 languages, but this one was way beyond. It felt like it was an Eastern language, like Japanese or something.
Yeah.
And I asked question, and she answered in that language. So I figured, well, she must understand me, so I'll keep asking questions, and I did for a little while, and she answered, and there was a dialogue in 2 different languages going back and forth. And when we were done, I had recorded the session. I always, everybody got to
Yeah.
have a recording. So,
Oh yeah.
so I ran the recording for her, and her jaw was just laying on the floor. She just had no clue what was going on. And I dubbed the copy for her. She took it, and I didn't know what to do with it, but I talked to a guy that came out to the airport, and we were teaching him how to fly, and he worked at the University of Minnesota, and he says, "Oh yeah," he says, I know a guy down at University of Minnesota. He's in the language department. He probably can figure out which language it is." So I I think I called him first and talked to him and explained, and then he said, "Send it to me." So I put it together and I sent him the tape, and I didn't hear anymore. It took 6 months, and I got a letter in the mail from Japan.
Oh God.
And in that letter, that came from a guy at the University of Osaka. And that was he was in the language department, and he said, "I deciphered some of it, but it is a dialect that was abolished well over 2,000 years ago."
Oh God.
but that lady knew it.
Amazing.
That is something that you have no explanation for this except that we have access to the past because it is the record of it is in the present.
Now, Alison was just saying in the chat room, said, I spoke a language a couple of weeks ago. It just came out. I didn't know what it were about.
Yeah, goofy things happen. Oh,
Is that subconsciously then?
yeah. Well, let me answer that in two ways. It appears as it comes from the subconscious mind, but the subconscious mind usually refers to the brain. But this is deeper than that. What happened to, I think, Alison, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to her is probably that your conscious mind accessed the subconscious mind, which had an open channel into the universal mind where everything past, present, and future is. And she accessed a language that she maybe one time in the past had spoken, and it came through up to conscious understanding where she could hear it. I think that came from outside of the brain, because if it was in the brain, she would have recognized some of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right there. Yeah, she would have done.
Yeah. Keep doing it, Alison. This is interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And I would like to hear from what we have talked about here tonight. Do your own experiments, because these mind experiments of reprogramming the mind and also using it to create perfect memory and perfect health or whatever you want. Even if you want, let's say you got a car that is on the last leg, or should I say last tire.
Yeah.
Maybe you need a new one. You can use that time right after you wake up and tell yourself, opportunities will come to me so I can create a new car in my life. Or you can phrase it, use language that resonates with you. I can create opportunities where I can get a new car for our family. You can use this. Sometimes opportunities come out totally up at the left field. They just show up. Or
I've done it. I know we going back a few years ago, I was a volunteer and we used to travel about 19 miles, and I used to visualize this parking space for her to put a car in. And 9 times out of 10, that space was available to us.
Yeah. Oh, you're so right. I use that at the bank all the time. There's this one spot at the bank where I always park, because when I get there, it could be pretty full all over the place, but that spot is open.
Yeah, I've done that a few times, and it does work.
Yeah. Wow. In this book also, I teach people how to access the past and the future. It's a form of time travel. mental time travel. And it actually works pretty good. I get emails from people that say they've tried it and they've seen things and it matches the reality at the time. So if you want to have a look at something in the past, there are procedures that you can do, mind creating procedures that you can do, but both the past and the future, they're pretty similar. So, and in here also, it teaches you, the book is written on three different or several different levels of consciousness. So, what I'm telling people is if you read the book 3 times, call me because we need to talk. You're
Right.
probably then ready for stage 2. And there is a stage 2. That's when you start creating out of nothing
Right.
all the time.
And what day is your show on?
Oh, the show is on Thursdays, East Coast time at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So it's 9 o'clock
Yeah.
UK time.
Uh,
5 hours.
yeah. Greenwich Mean Time, 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah, 9 o'clock. So it's durable for a lot of people in the UK to join in.
Yeah. And also, I do a paranormal show on Sunday night. I record that previously, and then I go and run it on Sunday night at that is 6 o'clock. That is 5 o'clock East Coast time.
10 o'clock UK time.
Yeah, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, so it's pretty live, and just go to. We're on 44 different platforms, so we're everywhere. But the only place we can watch the chat room is on YouTube. A lot of the others don't give us chat rooms.
No.
Yeah.
So anybody can look on YouTube and find you on there.
Yeah. So if you want to learn how to do some amazing things with your mind, I have outlined it in the book so you can go and experiment. And I structured the experiments so there is really no danger in it. I talk also about astral travel, how to do it, and things like that. It's simple. All you have to do is to know how to get out, but that is one thing. You also have to understand the environment you step into because it's different. In that environment, nothing works like it does here. You can't walk. Right. When you think yourself somewhere, bingo, you go there. So it's a little different.
That is interesting. That's just travel.
Yeah. I also have on Broadcasting Alpha YouTube, we have I got one 2-hour talk that I did on a conference on astral travel, and there's a lot of other 2 really interesting one about 4 years ago that the pictures of people, NASA prints of people and structures and ships and buildings on Mars. And also same thing. It's called the Mars pictures, and then one is called the Moon pictures. You're probably gonna like those.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's gonna be a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, Mars? How's that?"
Yeah. And I forgot to say that, but you can find that book in pretty much. If you got the title and my name, you can find it on pretty much most bookstores. But Amazon is the quickest one to get it, I think.
Is the main one, really.
Yeah.
Where you can find it straight away and order it.
Yeah.
What have you got anything planned for the future then?
Well, we're doing the mastermind on Sundays at That is 2 o'clock in the afternoon, East Coast time. And we're going to expand this a little bit with some, we're going to create a page of testimonies so people can get an idea of all the things that we've done that worked that should not work according to Newtonian science. And that's going to get interesting. Otherwise, I do a lot of interviews. I I got on the 17th. I'm being interviewed by a Danish TV station, and I get calls, so I love to talk. So here I are.
But you enjoy it, don't you, Aggie?
Oh
You
yeah,
enjoy you
yeah,
enjoy being interviewed
yeah.
and
It's
about different subjects.
yeah, yeah, and what we do. It kind of amazes me that we get to talk to all these interesting people, and it is phenomenal. It builds our character, our understanding of us and the universe. And that's what I recommend for people. Keep watching our videos. And also, I'm going to promote someone else here. Watch Greg Braden, Joe Dispenza, and Sadhguru, Bruce Lipton. Those people, they are the best out there that'll help you to get an understanding of the universe, as well as, of course, my videos getting pretty close. So, whatever you put in here, help you build character, build your abilities, and you build your understanding of what your capabilities are. And you will find there is no limitations. Now, that's a tough one to understand.
Yeah, Alison, we're just going to say about just before we go, I'll just put it up there. It just came out only a few seconds, a couple of sentences. I thought, where did that come from when she was talking that language?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, go within and find the answer. It's there.
Yeah, she needs, well, exactly. And I'm sure she'll find out herself
Yeah.
where it came from,
Yep.
who she's communicating with.
Yep. So, what I'm suggesting to people, create your own mastermind within the family, or if you're by yourself, find other people and visualize them in your presence and discuss with them, ask questions, and thoughts come that could be coming from their energy to you in form of an advice.
Yes.
And if you have a big family, that's wonderful. If it's just the two of you, that is wonderful. Create the mastermind of your own and know what you want. I
Right.
hear, I hear people say, yeah, whatever happens, happens. I guarantee you, you do that, and I guarantee you it will happen.
Okay.
But you may not like it because now you're open to somebody else creating in your life. You got to be the one that does the creation. And you do that by thought, emotion, visualized images, loving it into existence. Feel like you have it right now. This is a language of the universal mind. It's not a language of words. That's where the church go wrong. The church says, oh yeah, recite this prayer. Words are worthless, nearly worthless. It is
Mm.
the emotion and the visualized images and the thoughts that come with the words that the universe mind understand. And it can get in the game with you and help you create. but it's the emotion. The feeling is the prayer, not the words.
So everybody who's been in the chat room tonight, you could form your own group
Yep.
and do it together to help other people in life. You know,
Yeah.
it might be one of your relatives, or you might want something.
Hmm.
And think about it, and you can always join Aggie's group.
Yeah, send me an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link so you can come and check it out and see if you want to be part of something like this. You're
That'd
gonna
be
see
brilliant.
gonna see some amazing things.
Oh, yes. And learn a lot as well.
Yep.
So I think it's a great thing to do,
Yep.
because you might need it yourself sometime for
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
family member or anybody.
Yeah. Another thing that kind of the church goes wrong with people, they pray only when they need something really bad. That's when they go down and get on their knees and pray. Well, when you really got something bad happening in your life, then you go pray. Your bad thing is always on your mind while you're praying, and that shortens out the energy.
Yeah.
And remember, past, present, and future is in the now. So when you pray for something now, you may have gotten it already because it refers to the past too. Let's say when you get something that is really good, sit down and say, I thank you for bringing in me whatever it was. That is very important. The universal mind like to feel the love and the gratitude when you get something. It gives the universal mind an encouragement to do it again.
Mm. Yeah, it does. Yeah. And
Mhm.
it'll help you to access that again.
Yeah.
Well, we just about run out of time.
Yeah.
Aggie, you're an amazing guy. Thank you so much for coming on the show and helping us all to understand the mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love it.
Send me a link to this when you're done, and I'll help you get it out there and give it legs
Thank
for you.
you. I will do. I will do.
Yeah.
Thank you to Alison, Steph, Rebecca. I think Malcolm's in there. Mason's been in there. Diane. There's been quite a load in chat tonight. So it's really nice, but they all come in, and it does make a difference. If anybody wants to ask a question, it's always nice to relate to my guest. So thank you, everyone, for being here tonight, and my special guest, Aggie Nosh. I would say good night and God bless wherever you are around the world, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.
Hey, good night.